Hi guys, welcome back to How I Makes Up. Today I'm not feeling the greatest I've ever felt, as you can probably tell. I think I'm in between getting a cold or the flu, so I thought this would be a very good opportunity to do a video showing how I would cover up feeling rubbish if I had to go somewhere where I had to look a bit brighter, a bit healthier, and try and cheat the fact that I feel awful. So it's going to be an interesting video because I think there'll be a lot of me stopping to blow my nose. I've got my tissues nearby ready. So let's get started and hope this video somehow works out. So to start with, I'm going to use a bit of my Elisabeth Arden 8-Hour Cream, and I'm going to pop that on my lips just so that, again, they're a bit sort of dried out and dehydrated. So I'm going to pop that on my lips while I start, and what's left on my finger I'm just going to use on the outside of my nose just to help re-moisturise and just soften the skin around my nose, which is looking very red and sore. For foundation, I'm going to use my Clarins Extra Comfort. This is a mini sample pot I've got, but I swear this would last forever. It's such a good foundation that goes a long way. It's SPF 15, but like the name would suggest, extra comfort. It's just a nice soothing foundation. You can build the coverage, so it's going to be quite a good one to kind of sheer out and then just build in the areas where I need more coverage. But I'm going to use my Bobbi Brown, this is the full coverage brush, even though I don't want this to be full coverage. I find you can buff this product in really well. I'm taking a little bit on my brush, and I'm going to start kind of in the middle of my cheek, and then I'm just going to start buffing that through my skin, and it's definitely the middle area of my face that is going to need the most coverage, and already you can see that starting just to even out the skin tone a little bit. And I just go back in with this brush and just circular motions kind of really buff it into the skin so you can still see the texture of the skin. And also to let you know guys as well, when we hit 10k I have got a 10k giveaway plan, which I'm really excited about. I know it might not seem like it right now, but it'll be really nice to share that with you guys, so keep an eye out for that as well. I've done a few teasers on my Instagram, which is at How I Makes It Up, so you can get a little sneaky peek of some of the prizes that are going to be in the giveaway. So I'm going to come back to the areas of redness that I need to concentrate in a little bit with my concealer, but I'm actually going to start on my eyes now and then kind of see what else I need to do with my skin. One thing I will say is when you're not feeling great, sometimes eyes can kind of feel a little bit glazed over, so if you want to, you can add a few kind of brightening eye drops. I don't have any with me, but I am going to use a bit of a nude eyeliner just in my waterline, just kind of freshen up my eyes because they are feeling quite glazed over, and this is by Rimmel Scandaleyes. So I'm just going to pop. There's a lot of redness in my eyes right now. I'm just going to take that through the waterline. So for my brows, I'm going to go in with a bit of the Soap & Glory Archery. This one is in Hot Chocolate. I've used this in a video before, incredibly similar to Anastasia Brow Wit. So I'm going to go in with the crayon section first and just fill in a couple of gaps. Again, I'm not going to spend ages doing anything. I'm just going to do a quick neaten up. So I'm just filling in the gaps. I'm going to use a drugstore palette that I've seen. It's pretty much a dupe one of the Too Faced chocolate palettes. It's called I Heart Chocolate, and it's by, I think it's one of the Revolution palettes from Superdrug. So you can see it's very, very similar, but there's a nice amount of kind of bronzy tones, pinky tones, and there's a few mattes and shimmers. So it's quite a good palette, and I think this was under £8. So I'm going to use this. So with the MAC 27, I'm going to start off with one of the matte colours, which is this kind of like peachy tone, so nice and brightening, and I'm just going to use that kind of all over the top of my lid. And I'm just going to pop that through the whole of the lid. And they're quite well pigmented, these eyeshadows, considering they're kind of a budget buy. So I'm just taking that all the way up to the crease, just so there's room to blend. And then I'm going to take a NARS number 13 brush, and I'm just going to soften that through the crease. I'm going to take the same colour on my Bobbi Brown, this is the Eye Smudge brush, and I'm going to take that just a little bit on the outer third of the eye, so there's a little bit of definition but nothing too severe. Next I'm going to take a bit of this pencil by OCC. This is it's called Sybil, and it's the Cosmetic colour pencil, and it's quite a nice kind of deep chocolate brown, so rather than go for black or anything too stark that's going to be kind of too harsh against my eyes, I'm going to use a soft brown. I'm just taking that over my eye, getting more at the outer third. I'm not really winging it out, I'm just kind of doing like some messy dots and messy lines. Then taking that smudge brush again from the Bobbi Brown eye brush, I'm going to go back in with kind of like a deeper brown now. So I'm going to take that kind of brown, chocolatey brown, and I'm just going to use that to smudge over the pencil that I've just done. So again, you don't need to have a neat hand for something like this, you just want it to be nice and messy, but so that you get that definition into the eyeline. So I'm going to go with one of the Zerva pencil brushes, and I'm just going to take the bright kind of gold mixed with some of the shimmer white. So I'm just using that on the pencil brush, and I'm just taking that on the inside of my eye, just to give a little bit more of a wide awake eye feel. So I'm going to use a mix of the Bobbi Brown concealers. I've got a little palette here which you can buy from their website, which is one of their empty palettes, and I've just put a couple of my favourite concealers, including some Bobbi Brown eye brighteners. I've got some Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage in here, so I find this is a really good little kind of do-it-yourself palette, and I just literally scrape them in. I'm going to use a mix of the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage and a mix of the Bobbi Brown. So I've got my Real Technique setting brush. I'm going to start with a bit of eye brightener. So I'm using a little bit of, this is the light Bisque shade, so I'm taking a bit of that. I'm going to pop that first under the eye where I've got lots of nice blue bags where I haven't slept. So I'm using that just to brighten those really deep shadowy areas. So I'm probably going to use a little bit more than I would do normally because it does look really grey and tired under there. And then once you've got kind of your eye brightener on, then I'm going to go in with a little bit of sand. So I'm going to use that one, and I'm just going to pop that on top so that it's really nicely and brightly concealed. And that kind of adds, I find when you're feeling quite kind of dry skin and red, something more yellow tone concealer will help kind of cancel out that redness. I'd avoid anything with green in unless it's quite a modern formulation, because sometimes those things can make you look a little bit ashy. So this is more of a yellow based concealer, but you'll see it kind of starts to bring back the brightness to my skin. And then I'm going to take that sand concealer mixed with a little bit of beige concealer, so one that's more nearer my skin tone, and I'm going to start mixing those around my nose. And these are quite a creamy concealer, so if your skin has gone quite dry, you can kind of hide any cracked skin really well with this. So I'm just going to start painting that over the redness on my nose, mixing those two together. And what you might have to do if you've got a really red nose is go inside your nose a little bit, which might seem a bit weird, but often if the redness is kind of underneath the nostrils, that's where you really need to hide it. So it will make the difference. I'm going to add a bit of the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone. I do love the pearl shade, but I think this one's a little bit more golden, so it kind of brings the skin back to life a little bit. And I'm just going to use my finger, and I'm just going to pat that along the top of my cheekbone, just to bring a bit more sheen and life back to the skin. So I'm literally just doing that with my finger. I'm going to take a little bit of that, what's left on my finger, down the bridge of my nose, just a little bit, and use my brush to kind of set that into place. I'm going to use a little bit on my top lip. So in terms of powder, I don't want to make anything look matte in any areas, so I'm going to take a bit of that Hourglass powder, and this is in Ethereal Light, which is quite a nice kind of light diffusing powder. So it's a little bit reflective but not shimmery on the skin, and I'm just going to use a Japanese art shop brush, like a small one, and just to set kind of under my eyes and down the middle of my face. And I'm not putting a lot on, it's just enough so that it kind of stays in place around those areas. So the next thing I'd say is really important is eyelash curlers. A good pair of eyelash curlers just to really open up the eyes, makes you look instantly more wide awake anyway. So I'm going to take my eyelash curlers, I'm going to get it as close to my lash line as possible, and I'm going to give a really good squeeze. And a mascara I've heard a lot about recently is the 17 Falsifeye HD. Now I like the original Falsifeye false lash mascara, so I'm really excited to try this. I heard Wayne Goss giving it rave reviews, so I'm going to use this on the top and bottom. It's kind of like a little plasticky comb. It reminds me a bit of the Charlotte Tilbury one with the way it's kind of smaller at the top. So I'm just going to go in and do some on the top and the bottom lashes. So I'm going to do the bottom ones first, and I'm going to get right in there with the comb so that my eyes look really wide awake and open. And then I'm going to go in with the same mascara on the top lashes, and I'm going to do a good kind of 2 coats with this because I really want to see my lashes look full and my eyes really nice and wide awake. So we're going to cheat 13 hours sleep. And this is a really nice mascara. I do really like this. Definitely very lengthening without clumping. So I'm just taking it right from the root and wriggling it in. So now we've got lashes on, I think instantly we look a bit more healthy. There's one thing though that I think makes you kind of look instantly more healthy, and that's cream blush. And for that I'm going to use one by Earl. This one is Blossom, and it's quite a nice kind of tawny rosy colour, but for me this is just what I think of when I think of nice healthy skin. So just using my finger, I'm going to start dotting that down my cheekbone, and I'm just going to blend that in with my fingers. So I'm just going to start dispersing it first around my cheek, take a little bit of that into my temple as well, and you can see this just instantly gives colour back to my skin. So I'm just using my foundation brush I use just to kind of buff those edges in and make it really become part of the skin, but for me that is kind of instant health as soon as you put a nice cream blusher back in. So one kind of ring finger, I just dot it up here, so quite high on the cheekbone, and then I disperse it around first with my finger, and then just back in with my brush, and I just kind of buff it through the skin so it fades out. A little bit in the temple as well. For lips, I'm just going to do a lip gloss because it's nice and easy, and I'm going to use this one by Urban Decay, which is called Naked, I believe. So I'm just going to use this directly from applicator. Again, it's nice and glowy as well. And I'm just going to put a bit of that through the lips. And so that's the final look, guys. Hopefully that's an improvement from when I started. Obviously, if you're really ill, you're not going to be bothered to put makeup on anyway. But this was just a video if you're feeling kind of slightly under the weather or you're a bit tired or exhausted. It's a good makeup for kind of a fresh pick-me-up. And I think this is the time of year where everyone starts to get colds or gets that kind of winter flu. So it's just a good one to know a few little tips and tricks how to kind of get rid of any redness or fatigue. So I hope that was helpful, guys. Like I said, keep an eye out for the giveaway, and I will see you soon for more videos. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.